Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, Dolly Parton is, of course, best known for her song 9 to 5. Coming up next, you're going to hear from a commercial real estate expert who's going to teach you how you no longer have to work 9 to 5. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. So when I watch reality television shows, I see stuff like $1 Million Listing, and it's all about residential real estate. But there's a fortune to be made in commercial real estate. To talk about that today, Pam Goodwin. She's with Goodwin Commercial. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, Jeff. It is great to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so inspired by your journey, and we're going to talk about your TV show in a minute. But first, how did you get started in commercial real estate?
A very long time ago, but I actually have a degree in interior design. Did that for about a year and transitioned right away into large shopping center development, working on the landlord side, then the tenant side for Brinker International, developing more than 50 Chili's from the ground up. That launched me to start my own commercial real estate business in 2006.
2006. Okay, what was your very first deal?
You have no idea how to get started, but I left Brinker Chili's on a good relationship, and so they sent me down to a city called Copperas Cove, Texas. Mm-hmm. And I actually put a pad site, which is, a couple acres of property for, potential Chili's. And then at that time, they decided to put a halt on all of their development, but I still had the property, and I started marketing it. I think I put it under contract for about $2,000. A lot of people think you need a lot of money to get started. So if you have a couple $1,000s, but I ended up flipping that property the same day to Discount Tires, which the profit exceeded my 6-figure income at Brinker, and I was hooked on commercial real estate. And how many years is that? 16, 17 years later, yes. I specialize in single tenant net lease properties.
And you love to help people and empower people and teach them how to do it. You have 2 best-selling books. One is called 1 Cent Lemonade to $1 Million Deals, and the other one is Winning Ways in Commercial Real Estate. Let's take the 1 Cent Lemonade first. When did you write the book, and tell us about the book?
That was my first book. I actually met, Zig Ziglar being here from Dallas. One time I met him at a conference, and he said, Pam, if you want credibility, you have to write a book. So that was in about maybe 2014 that I wrote that book, and then it becomes addictive to write the next one and the next one. But I have always been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I just put together all my jobs that I ever had and what I wish I learned sooner.
And do you mentor people? Can people hire you to coach them on commercial real estate?
They do. I do coaching because I believe in giving back, especially to the younger generation. But I have a mission. I feel everyone should own some type of commercial real estate. And people are surprised that I'm helping a company now. They were actually leasing property for 30 years, and they bought their first condo at about $300,000. And now we're about to close on the second condo. They're expanding. They have fear of buying because they don't know, but hiring an expert like me who's been in real estate for more than 30 years, just hiring or bringing on the right person to. But I do coach and I do mentor, and I do really enjoy helping people.
Absolutely. And you had a diagnosis a couple of years ago, and you had the courage to share your journey. Please share it with our viewers.
Yeah, just October 2019, so it's coming up on 3 years, but just went in for a regular mammogram, and thank goodness our pediatrician told me to get a 3D mammogram and not the standard 2D mammogram because that's when I was diagnosed, thank goodness, at stage 1 in an early stage. And it really changed my life. So I had to go through cancer and COVID all in 2020, but it's amazing how it's a wake-up call for you.
And tell us about 3D mammograms, because you're really, this is kind of your pulpit right now. Women, you need to get checked.
Well, I was right. It's coming up. October is coming up, and that's always the month for breast cancer. But a lot of women are not aware. Even when I went just 3 years ago, they're like, "Do you want the 2D or 3D?" And they're like, "If you want the 3D, it's an extra like $400." Most people would turn that down because nobody tells them what it is. But if you have, dense breasts, it just has a better image of it. So no matter what it costs, there's a lot of groups out there too that if you cannot afford the 3D, make sure you are getting that.
Yeah, and I know it's so timely because during COVID, so many women put off their annual checkup. I want to talk about your television show and brag about you a little bit. You've been able to interview just pretty much everybody who's anybody. When did you start the TV show?
That was, I think, just about 2 years ago. I just had an idea. I just wanted to share how people get started in their business. And because so many, especially women, have the fear of starting that cupcake business. And I interviewed Gigi's Cupcakes. She took out a $100,000 loan to get started in her business and then ended up selling it for multi-millions. And so I just started reaching out to these people myself. And it's a little bit easier these days on the social media of, how would you like to be on my talk show?
Sure.
And they said yes. And it was a good time, too, because it was during COVID and they were sitting at home. So.
Well, I'm so impressed with the quality of guests. One of your recent guests is a hero of mine, Gretchen Carlson. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
The Pam Goodwin Show is a show that features the biggest names in television, successful entrepreneurs, future new talents, and local heroes. My next guest graduated from Stanford. She was a former celebrity Fox newscaster, Miss America winner, took on the world's most powerful man in media, and now she is fighting to end sexual harassment for good. Welcome, Gretchen Carlson. I am thrilled for our next guest. I have been following her for years and years, and I'm thrilled to have her on the Pam Goodwin Show. Welcome, Gretchen Carlson.
Thanks for having me, Pam.
I know I've been following you for some time and thrilled, just to read everything that you're doing. We're about the same age group. And so reading about it just brought back, when I started in the mid 80s working, and one of the requirements was that we had to wear a dress, which if you can relate, you being from Minnesota and being, I'm from Nebraska. And in those cold winters, it's so great to see all of the changes that are happening in 2021 and everything that you're doing. But I'd love for you to tell our viewers, how you got the courage to, be a real, strong women's advocate.
Well, it's not something that you develop overnight. I credit my upbringing in a small town in Minnesota, actually, also the Midwest, and my Protestant work ethic, and parents who told me that I could be anything that I wanted to be in my life, but it would take a lot of hard work. So I think that that's a huge part of building courage in a person to step out, especially women, because we're socialized as little girls to be perfect and color inside of the lines and not take risks. And those are exactly the things that we should be teaching our little girls to do, just like we do boys. And then I would say that courage building is, some of it's innate. I've always had a fire in my belly. Sometimes I wish I could turn it off at night, especially at 2 a.m. But that fire in my belly has been what's propelled me through never giving up on anything.
And what, kind of a connection is I was in Minnesota working at a TV station when she was named Miss America. And then shortly afterwards, she started to work at my old TV station.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then she came to Dallas and worked at Channel 5 here. And we've kept in touch over the years. Just such a courageous woman. I want to talk about another star that you're associated with, Dolly Parton. And before we roll this clip, I want you to set it up. Okay, so how did you meet Dolly?
We have an annual event that we just started in 21 for Kiss Breast Cancer Goodbye, and Dolly Parton was our headliner, singing more than 17 songs, and she had not performed in 5 years and agreed to do our event. She's the most amazing giving person I know. And so I had the opportunity to meet her to do some more promotions for us. So she's like, okay, be at my studio at 6:30 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm like, I'll be there. Anything for Dolly. So
That's awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and roll this clip.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Take it.
Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
I better take it. Jolene, please don't take him just because you can.
Oh my God. That just made my life.
All right.
I love you.
When I saw that, I said, that has to be an impersonator. It can't be the real Dolly. She's such an icon. Well, okay, is she as nice as, she seems?
Oh my gosh, she's so wonderful. I mean, I have been singing Jolene since I was like 8 years old. So to be able to sing that almost 50 years later,
With Dolly.
she's the real deal. She's just wonderful. And she's helping us again this year with some autographed items to be donating because we benefit Susan G. Komen for our event.
Sure. Well, okay, we've only got a couple minutes left, so I want this to be your soapbox. Anything you want to talk about, from breast cancer to empowering people, go ahead.
Thanks, Jeff. As we, briefly mentioned, I just feel that everyone at some point should be able to own commercial real estate. So I really do have a passion for that and really hoping to help people with that.
And that people should have the courage to reach out there. It is complicated, but if you have the right tour guide, if you will, you can be very successful in it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to end with your website, which is pamgoodwin.com. Pam, thank you so much for inspiring us.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me on your show.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.